Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today I am just very quickly going to give you a few winter reading recommendations that I've really loved in the past. These will be perfect for the festive readathon as well. I will let you know what prompts they fulfill as we go through them. But yeah, I thought I would give you a couple of my winter reading recommendations. So without further ado, let's get into them. The first one that I have in here, these are in no particular order, but the first one I have on here is one that I'm planning on rereading in December. I read this for the first time in January 2020, and I really wanted to reread it in the December because it's perfect for around Christmas time, but I'd already read it and then I didn't have time to read it again, so I want to read it December this year. But it is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. Now this is a Christmas Carol reimagining, essentially, where our Scrooge is a young girl called Holly. Naturally, it's a Holly Chase. I don't know why I had to check that. And she was visited by 3 ghosts and basically given a warning that she needed to sort her act out. She didn't. She passed away, and then we continue to follow her story, essentially. She's now stuck working for the top secret company Project Scrooge as the latest ghost of Christmas past, and we continue to follow her on this story. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I think I really enjoyed it a lot because I reread A Christmas Carol every single year. It's my favourite Christmas story ever. I watch it every single year, I reread it every single year, so this was a really nice addition to that tradition. Ooh, I liked that. That was cool. And this one for me, with the prompts for Festive Readathon, would count for festive word in the title, because Holly is on there, and Holly is a festive word. Snow on the cover. There are snowflakes on the cover. This is a snowflake. Snow on the cover. Could be an anticipated read for some of you, I'm not sure. Red on the cover. It's, oh, would this count as an it's illustrated, it's got illustrations on it, so illustrated cover. It is set in the winter because it's Project Scrooge. So yeah, it would count for all of the reading prompts for this readathon, so I would highly recommend it. It's very good indeed, and I am planning on rereading it this year in winter. I'm not going to specifically say December. I would really like to reread it in December specifically, but I may not get to it in time, so I'm going to say winter. But I'm hoping to reread this one. Highly recommend it. Very good indeed. So next I have Snow and Rose by Emily Winfield Martin, and I've read this every year for the last 2 years. I think, again, another reread for me. And this is following 2 sisters, Snow and Rose, who live in the woods. They are entirely different. You wouldn't think they were sisters, but they didn't always live in the woods. Their parents, they used to live in a mansion with servants, with mum and dad. However, dad disappeared one day when he went into the woods, and mum disappeared into sorrow, and things haven't been the same since, and the girls would really like to find their dad. So yeah, we just end up going on little adventures and stuff, and this is heavily illustrated and it's extremely beautiful. The audiobook is fantastic and I would highly recommend it. It's very good indeed. And I just absolutely adore it. Like I say, I've read it now for the last 2 years. It's very good, and this again would count for the festive word in the title, snow in the title, red on the cover. What else have we got? Snow on the cover. I mean, the word snow is on the cover, so that counts as well. Could be an anticipated read for some of you. It is an illustrated cover, and it's set in winter, so again, completes all of the prompts for the festive readathon. I'm giving you some great recommendations here. Then we have The Miracle on Ebenezer Street by Catherine Doyle. I read this one for the first time last year. This was really cute. Again, I think this is another Christmas Carol reimagining. Yeah, another stunning modern reimagining of Charles Dickens' beloved classic A Christmas Carol. This one is following George, who's about to spend his third Christmas without his mum since she died. His life has felt a little dull and grey. His dad's thrown himself into his work and no time for family, definitely no time for Christmas. Then George stumbles across Marley's curiosity shop. There he finds a mysterious snow globe which, though George can't quite understand how, appears to show a scene from George's past. A Christmas in which he and his family were all together and happy. That night George and his dad are swept on an adventure to 3 Christmas past past, present and future. With help from new friends and just a touch of magic, can they begin to live life in full colour again? It's really, really cute, and I really adored this one. I read this, a buddy read it last year with Jade, and it was really, really good. So I would recommend this one. It was really good. And this one has festive word in the title. I mean miracle, Ebenezer Street, festive enough. It's got snowflakes on the cover. I would say this is more like pink than red, actually, if I'm being pedantic about it, but we're not being pedantic about it. Nobody's policing it. It could count. And has it got green? No, it's no green on the cover. It's illustrated though. It's an illustrated cover. And it's set in winter. So, you know, again, could count for all of the prompts for Festive Readathon. Then I'm going to recommend you The Christmassaurus by Tom Fletcher. This one is a little bit of a younger one as far as middle grade's concerned, but I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's so much fun, and I love these stories. I've got the newest one ready for Christmas, which is The Christmassaurus and the Naughty List. I'm really, really excited about it. So I adore these ones so much. This is following a young boy called William Trundle, and the synopsis says, forget everything you thought you knew about the North Pole. Pop a crumpet in the toaster and get ready to meet a boy called William Trundle, his dad, Mr. Bob Trundle, Santa Claus, yes, the real Santa Claus, an elf named Snoozle Trump, Brenda Payne, the meanest girl in school, possibly the world, a nasty piece of work called the Hunter, and the most unusual dinosaur. It's just fantastic. I absolutely adore this so, so much. And underneath, I just have to show you. Oh, this is the plainer one, but my other ones have gorgeous illustrations underneath the dust jacket. It's so, so beautiful. But yeah, I adore this book so much. Would highly recommend the audiobook as well. And again, another heavily illustrated book on the inside. Like these illustrations, Santa. And yeah, I just really, really love it. Again, this is a festive word in the title, Christmassaurus. It's got snowflakes on the cover. It doesn't have red, or actually his PJs are green. So it's got green on the cover. What else do we have? Illustrated cover, obviously, as you can see. Set at winter, absolutely. And it could be an anticipated read for you, who knows? Might be now that I've spoke about it, but yeah, would highly recommend this one. Then we have The Polar Bear Explorers Club by Alex Bell. I really loved this series. I read it this year for Polathon on Jade's recommendation, and I ended up binging the whole series. I haven't yet got onto the next spin-off series, which is the Ocean Squid Explorers Club, I think it's called, yeah. But I have read the first three in, like, the three in this series. And this is following Stella, who joins the Polar Bears Explorers Club on an expedition to the Iceland. Her eyes are open to a world of danger, adventure and snow pirates. Out in the icy wilds, there are giant yetis, magical golden geese, terrifying carnivorous cabbages, and important new friendships to be made. Join the explorers on an unforgettable adventure across the ice. I would recommend getting the whole series because I had to binge the lot. I literally only had the first book and then immediately bought the next two so that I could binge the whole lot for Polathon earlier on this year. So I would recommend doing that, but I really, really love this one. Again, this would count for I would say polar and bear count for festive word in the title, maybe polar bear. I don't know, it's like polar bears around winter, right? It's got snow on the cover. It is an illustrated cover. It doesn't have red or green on the cover, but it is set, I mean, I would say it's set at winter. You know, you're setting the ice caps and stuff, and you go on an adventure, and there's illustrations that look like this, so, you know, it's about as winter as it's going to get. So I would recommend this entire series 100%. Then we have Frostheart by Jamie Littler, which is one of my favourite middle grade series of all time, following a young boy called Ash, who has been left in the stronghold by his parents while they go out on an adventure. They are explorers, but they haven't come back for him, and Ash is being isolated slowly but surely in this stronghold. He doesn't like it because he's different, and eventually he ends up finding his way onto this boat called the Frostheart, and he ends up with the crew, and he wants to try and find his parents, but they get in a little bit of bother. There are leviathans in here, which are like bad creatures, and there's a lot going on, a lot happening in this series, but I would highly recommend it. It's so good. Another heavily illustrated book. Jamie does all of his own illustrations. This is Ash with his Yeti, Tobu. But I would highly recommend it. It's fantastic, and you will have the best time with these characters. Look at that little window flap thing. It's a great time. This is the Waterstones special edition one, and yeah, it's a fantastic time. So, festive word in the title, frost. It is illustrated cover. It's got green on the cover. It's also got a bit of red on the cover as well, so both of those colours. It has snow. Oh yeah, snow here because they're on ice. Snow on the cover, and set at winter. Yes. So again, all of the prompts could be achieved with this one if it's an anticipated read for you. Who knows? Then I have 3 books from the same author, but I just kind of want to highlight the author, to be honest, because she does some great books, especially winter books. So we have all of Sophie Anderson's books, which are The House with Chicken Legs, The Girl Who Speaks Bear, and also The Castle of Tango Magic. The House with Chicken Legs follows Marinka, who dreams of a normal life where a house stays in one place long enough for her to make friends, but a house has chicken legs and moves on without warning. Essentially, Marinka's grandmother is a Baba Yaga, and they help the dead with passing over to the other side. So, yeah, it's not necessarily like I wouldn't necessarily say it's specifically a winter read, but it just gives me proper winter vibes. I just love it so much. Really does give me heavy winter vibes. There are illustrations in here, not too ridiculously heavily illustrated, but adorable nonetheless. And I just love this story so much. So, illustrated cover on this one. I wouldn't necessarily say a festive word on here, but there isn't necessarily snow on the cover. No snow on the cover, but it is illustrated and it's got red on the cover as well, so that one could work for that. Then we have The Girl Who Speaks Bear, in which we are following Yanka, the bear who basically was found abandoned in a bear cave as a baby. She's always wondered where she's from. She tries ignoring the strange whispers and looks from the villagers, wishing she was as strong inside as she is on the outside. When Yanka has to flee her house looking for answers about who she really is, a journey far beyond anything she ever imagined begins. From icy rivers to smouldering mountains, meeting an ever-growing herd of extraordinary friends along the way. This one's adorable. This is my favourite of all of Sophie Anderson's books. I would recommend reading The House with Chicken Legs first. You don't have to. These don't go in any specific order, but you come across similar sort of friends in this one as you do in this one, and you already have the backstory from this one, so you get to know them a little bit more. You don't get the backstory as much in this one, but again, illustrated throughout. Very beautiful book indeed. Lots of pages like this, and I adore it so much. Again, not a festive word in the title. There isn't necessarily snow on the cover of this one, but there is red and green. It is illustrated. It could be an anticipated read for you, and it's set in winter, I would say, as well. This has probably got the most winter vibes out of all of them. And then the final one in this pack, in this trilogy that I'm sort of mentioning by Sophie, is the Castle of Tango Magic, which is following 13-year-old Olia, who steps through a magical doorway and she discovers another land, the land of a land tangled by magic where hope is lost and scheming wizard holds all the power. Soon Olia learns that she's destined to save this land, but with time running out and her new friends and family in danger, she must search for the magic within herself to save everything and everyone she loves. Really cute. Really adored this one. Again, illustrated inside, and a very beautiful read. It is illustrated. It's got red, well, it's orange, but it's got bits of red on the cover. No snow specifically, but I would say set at winter, so yeah, would also count. Then we have The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, which does have snow on the cover. It's got an illustrated cover. Again, bear, maybe a festive word. I don't know if you count that as a festive word. I might. What else? Red or green on the cover. Has both on the cover. and set in winter. Yeah. Yes, set in winter. This one is set in a village at the edge of the wilderness of northern Russia, where the winds blow cold and the snow falls many months of the year. An elderly servant tells stories of sorcery, folklore, and the Winter King. To the children of the family, tales of old magic frowned upon by the church. But for the young, wild Vasya, these are far more than just stories. She alone can see the house spirits that guard her home and sense the growing forces of the dark magic in the woods. I really enjoy this series. We're not just following Vasya, which I find really, really interesting. They make out like you're following her mostly, but you do follow her siblings as well, which is very, very interesting. But I do really enjoy this series, and I'm hoping to finish this series off with, what's the last one called? The Winter of the Witch, I think it's called, the last one. I'm hoping to finish that one this year, before the end of the year. Fingers crossed that I managed to do that. But yeah, I would recommend this series as well. And then just two more books that I no longer own but I have read, romance ones. The first one is This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. I'll leave a picture of it up here. And this is following Quinn Hamilton and also Minnie Cooper. Can't believe she's called Minnie Cooper still. And they're both born on New Year's Day. But they basically, born on New Year's Day, Quinn Hamilton just edged out Minnie Cooper to win his family the cash prize award to finish to the first baby of the new year. Convinced that she has been cursed since then, the years that followed only continued to go downhill for Minnie. But Quinn and Minnie end up running into each other at a party many years later, and their attraction grows in ways that can only be described as fated in this love story that's instantly landed on New York Times bestseller list. I really loved this one. This really shocked me actually, because I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. So it is one of those, you know, long-term ones. You keep following them several years down the line and a few more years after that. It's a really good one though, and I would recommend it. And then the other one is One Day in December by Josie Silver. I really loved this book. It was so good. It's a winding and memorable romance. Despite the cliches about love at first sight, Laurie is certain she's found the one when she locks eyes with a stranger through the window of her bus. She starts to check for him for about a year. When she gets on the bus, she can't see him, she doesn't see him, and then one day her best friend Sarah introduces this guy as her new boyfriend, and Laurie is devastated because it's the guy she's essentially been obsessing over and completely in love with for the last year. And then we just follow them over the next several years with romances and missed opportunities and all sorts of good stuff. And it's just so good, and it has you pining for them so badly. I would highly recommend this one. It's a really good read. So yeah, those are the books that I would recommend for winter reads. They're my winter recommendations. So let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, or if you now plan on reading any of these because of my recommendation. I always love to hear it if you guys ever pick up books because I've recommended them. So let me know in the comments down below if you're intrigued by any of these. Let me know if you've got any recommendations for me based off of these recommendations for you because I feel like that would be a fun thing also. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you're taking part in Festive Readathon as well, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go and check out the announcement video up here. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.